Hey guys, good afternoon here. This is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, podcast host, and coach, and it is great to be with you once again on Inspirations for Your Life. So, the weather's getting nice. Great to be with everyone here. Welcome back to another episode. Do check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. Don't forget to head off to the kitchen, get yourself something delicious and yummy, and hurry on back so we can get the show started. All right, guys. So today I'm diving deep again into one of the most crucial skills for success in life: leadership and personal growth. How to open your mind without losing your judgment. In a world overflowing with ideas, trends, and information, it's easy to feel persuaded to accept everything at face value, right? I think that's an important thing. But that can leave you confused, vulnerable, or even manipulated. So, how do you balance curiosity and discernment? Well, definitely stay tuned because I'm going to share some key insights, real strategies, and inspiring thoughts to help you embrace new ideas wisely without losing your sense of self or clarity. So let's kick this off and get started, everyone, on this wonderful, powerful journey. Our master topic for the week, in case you just joined us, it's overcoming skepticism, and we're in series 4. And this granular topic today is opening your mind without losing your judgment, series 4, show 18, episode number 3. Yes. So, kicking this right off, let's get right into our first point so that we can become smarter, stronger, and more resilient. Number 1, importance of critical thinking alongside open-mindedness. Being open-minded does not mean abandoning your ability to think critically. In fact, critical thinking is the tool that helps you filter through the noise. When you encounter new ideas, critical thinking allows you to question, analyze, and interpret the information before deciding how to respond. Instead of simply accepting or rejecting, you engage in thoughtful evaluation, cultivating both open-mindedness and critical thinking, ensuring that you stay receptive to growth while protecting yourself from poor reasoning or misinformation for that matter. Number 2, differentiating open-mindedness from gullibility. This is a real key, guys. There's a fine but crucial line between being open-minded and being gullible. Open-mindedness invites you to listen carefully, explore perspectives, and consider different viewpoints, while gullibility suggests believing everything without examination. True open-mindedness is about being active, not passive. It involves assessing the credibility of sources, questioning motives, and testing claims. Being open-minded is about engagement and exploration, not blind acceptance. Remember, staying open doesn't mean letting your guard down completely. It means keeping it informed and intentional. All right, that's important, guys. So, number 3, evaluating new ideas without immediate acceptance or rejection. I think so many people are wanting to jump to an idea and they want to accept it, but then they don't necessarily know if it's the right thing to do. So, there's no need to rush there. So, just take it easy when we think about it. But when you encounter new ideas, your first reaction should be neither a knee jerk yes or a quick no. True evaluation requires patience and processing time. Instead of emotionally responding, take a breath and ask what evidence supports this. Does it align or conflict with what I know? By stepping back from instant judgment, you allow space for curiosity and assessment to coexist. This habit keeps you grounded and ensures your decisions are reasoned, not reactive. I think that's a big thing, everyone. Number 4, guys, recognizing cognitive biases. When hearing new perspectives, our brains naturally create shortcuts, even called cognitive biases, as we've said before. But to handle these flood of information that we'll encounter, however, these biases can distort the view. So, what do? Confirmation bias, for instance, pushes us to favor ideas that already fit our beliefs. Recognizing when your mind is, let's say, leaning too heavily on biases, and it helps you stay fair, open, and rational. Awareness is your greatest ally in ensuring that your judgment remains clear and that you're genuinely evaluating, not just validating your worldview. Number 5, guys, balancing skepticism and curiosity. That's a real interesting one, guys, because, we talk about the world of balance. I think that could be a little bit of a challenge for some people, right? because they don't necessarily know why something is going a certain way. Like they just don't have a clue. So I want to tell you that you can make a difference in your life, but you have to realize that you've got to be aware of it first. If you're not aware of it, well, it's never going to go anywhere. So balancing skepticism with curiosity. Healthy skepticism is essential, but too much can block your growth. Balancing skepticism with curiosity means staying alert, but not cynical. It's about questioning in a way that encourages discovery, not just distrust. Imagine wearing both a detective's hat and an explorer's hat at the same time. You're investigating new information without assuming everything is a scam or, let's say, a savior. This delicate balance leads to more informed decisions and richer learning experiences. But many people out there just think everything is all wrong. And the reason I think they think this is because they've had things happen to them in their lives. Okay. They've had things happen in their lives. And I think that's a very, very big point. Okay. When we think about that point, it's like, how did we first understand that? Right. And I think that's important to understand, is that it's something we don't necessarily know, but it's something that we come to know. Does that make sense? I hope it does. All right. I think if we can understand something, which is knowing your core values and your principles. Your core values are your internal compass when you are clear about what you stand for. It's easier to navigate new ideas without losing yourself. Values like honesty, kindness, resilience, and respect give you a solid foundation. No matter how persuasive or exciting a new idea sounds, it must align with your principles. Okay. Grounding yourself in your values makes you open to learning, but immune to losing your true self. I think so many people are looking for a quick out that they forget to examine their own core values, and then they find themselves unhappy, right? They find themselves unhappy. Number 7, testing ideas logically before adopting them. Before welcoming a new belief or adopting a new idea, test it logically. Does the idea make sense across different scenarios? Can it be backed up with consistent evidence? Testing ideas like a scientist running an experiment with hypothesis, keeping you from rushing into flawed thinking. It's also strengthening your ability to defend your beliefs intelligently and compassionately, allowing you to evolve without being easily swayed by every trend. I think, advertisers out there want us to jump on every bandwagon out there, even if that bandwagon is not for us. I mean, when you go to the store, how many times do you get that thing for a compulsive buy? The stuff at the register is stuff that you probably don't need, and it's just put there, and half the time it's junk. I know my eyes today, it's like, I guess my allergies just sort of kicked a little today. Sorry about that, guys. So another important thing about this is to respect others' opinions without losing self-awareness. Respecting another person's opinion doesn't mean you must agree with them. It's a sign of emotional intelligence to listen, honor, and to be on board with their experience and maintain your own self-awareness. You can disagree without being disagreeable. It's okay to agree to disagree. True strength lies in understanding that your identity isn't threatened by different perspectives. It's enhanced by the ability to coexist with a diversity of thought. And this, ladies and gentlemen, can actually open you up to even greater possibilities. I think that's something that's pretty powerful, right? Really, really powerful. But some people they miss this. They miss this whole point. Number 9, using evidence and reasoning over emotions. I think a lot of people want to make decisions based on emotions, but the truth of the matter is when we do this, we find ourselves unhappy down the road later. It's tempting to make decisions based on how you feel in the moment. However, emotions are fleeting, while evidence and logical reasoning are very durable. Training yourself to prioritize facts over feelings ensures that your judgments are solid and defensible. Emotions can inspire us to care, but reasoning ensures we act wisely. Together, they create this unique balance and a mature approach to accepting or rejecting new ideas. So now that we have a feeling and now that we have some logic behind it, we can actually justify things. Now, I know so many people that say, I'm going to make a decision based on my feelings. And that doesn't work all the times, folks. I want to be honest with you. And the reason it doesn't work is because the emotion is like in some way blocking us from getting where we want to be because it doesn't look at what possibly is wrong. It just looks at what we think. And that thing could be really, really wrong, guys. I mean, really, really wrong. Number 10, being willing to adjust beliefs, but only when justified. Growth does demand flexibility, but not at the expense of integrity. Being willing to adjust your beliefs when presented with compelling, well-supported evidence is key. Changing your mind isn't weakness, it's wisdom. However, changing your mind without sufficient cause can lead to instability and, yes, self-doubt. Hold your beliefs firmly, but not so tightly that they can never evolve when truly needed. Number 11, setting mental boundaries to avoid manipulation. All right. So, mental boundaries are critical for protecting your clarity and independence. Not everyone you encounter will have pure motives. Strong mental boundaries allow you to engage with new ideas while remaining vigilant against manipulation or coercion. Think of them as a security system for your mind, letting good ideas in while keeping harmful influences out. All right, number 12, practicing patience in understanding complex or opposing views. Complex ideas and opposing views often require time and reflection to fully understand. Practicing patience helps you move beyond surface judgments to deeper comprehension. Rushing to conclusions short changes your ability to appreciate nuances. Patience cultivates my eyes today. Wow, I don't get this that often. Patience cultivates wisdom, empathy, and strength, and key ingredients for balancing an open mind with sound judgment. So I think that's a very important thing to understand. And most people, when they hear the word judgment, like, well, if there's judgment, it's wrong. Well, no, it's not. Judgment just means that you have not, just willy-nilly decided something. You have went through the stages and you said, you know what? This is the way I should decide based on certain criteria that you've been able to ascertain. So now what I do in this part of the show, what I do is I'm going to give you basically a personal learning lesson, basically a learning lesson or story about each of these points today. And my hope is that it will help to reinforce what they stand for. Because I know when we talk about things, they can get lost, right? I mean, that can obviously happen. So when we think about, things like, what's going on in our life, we think about, how we're making decisions. Decision making isn't something we put a lot of time into. Let's face it. We're just kind of moving on to the next thing. If a decision didn't go so well, then we're going back and trying to analyze, well, gee, how do I do it better next time? But if we took the time, just a few moments before we actually made a decision, we would see that we probably would have less mistakes in our decisions. Now, no one's perfect, but if we don't rush into the decision, if we understand that decisions need to be approached in a certain manner, then I think that's a huge, huge win. For everyone, all right? But again, some people get a little impatient. They get a little impatient. The reason they get impatient is because they're not happy with the current outcome. And it could be money, it could be a time frame, it could be a lot of things, guys. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons for this. So the first story I want to share with you is the importance of critical thinking alongside open-mindedness. I remember when I started one of my businesses, because I have several. Many people had advice for me. Some had advice for me, and some meant very well. Some misguided me, and early on, I thought being polite meant agreeing with everyone. But after understanding that some of their ideas didn't go anywhere, I realized I had a right to agree to disagree, and that wasn't rude. I learned the value of critical thinking. It is very important. I realized that listening to new ideas is key, but questioning them is even more vital. It taught me that open mindedness without critical thinking is like a ship without a compass. You drift and you don't sail. Or it's like a sailboat, right? With a sail without a main sheet to pull in on, right? That'd be a big problem. Number two, differentiating open mindedness from gullibility. This is one of my favorite stories. There was a time when I signed up for an expensive business coaching program before I became a coach, long, long time ago. And the program that promised to double my revenue in 30 days. I was just out of college, just started one of my businesses. I was open minded, but didn't vet them properly. And it cost me dearly. I learned that being truly open minded means checking credentials and asking tough questions, not just believing smooth talk. The painful but important lesson made me much sharper and taught me that true openness requires discernment, not blind faith. Number three. Um, Years ago, first I'll tell you it's about evaluating new ideas without immediate acceptance or rejection. Years ago, I heard about a new technology that promised to revolutionize an industry. My gut said buy it immediately, but something told me, John, slow down. Something's not right about this. I took a week to research it thoroughly and discovered major flaws. It would have cost me thousands just at the onset. Forget the long term. Taking time to properly evaluate before deciding gave me an edge and taught me the power of pausing between hearing and acting. That's a key thing, guys. Number four, recognizing cognitive biases. Now, this sounds like something that is easy, but the truth of the matter is, it's not. You have to recognize what this means, okay? And it's something that not everyone gets, okay? When hearing new perspectives in one leadership seminar, I found myself instantly agreeing with a speaker because he reminded me of a mentor I admired. Later, I realized my mind wasn't weighing the content of his message, it was falling into a bias trap based on a familiarity. You have to be careful of that, folks. After that, I made a point to ask myself, am I liking the message because it's good, or just because it feels comfortable, or because I like the presenter? Catching these biases early in action was a big game changer for me in my personal and my professional life. Number five, balancing skepticism with curiosity. Wow. One year back, well, actually, it was 1 year, I'm going to say I was in business, which is many years back. I was introduced to a new, let's say, type of solution for payroll. My instinct screamed skepticism, but I chose to approach it with cautious curiosity. I researched, asked uncomfortable questions, and listened carefully to the answers. Turns out the opportunity was legitimate, and it did become a smart move at the time. However, the company had since not been able to maintain the service level that they had promised in the beginning, so I later left them. If I had shut the door on them, I would have never been able to try them, and I would never know what kind of services and what a good company should be delivering in payroll. Now I do. So when I found the new company, I have a benchmark to actually go after. Number six, knowing your core values and your principles. When I was offered a very nice project in the city for one of my companies that I own, I noticed that it didn't align with my values. It involved a deceptive marketing tactic. I struggled for a moment, and the money was very tempting. But remembering my commitment to honesty and integrity made the decision clear. John, you don't want to do this. I walked away. Years later, maintained that integrity, and still, it has strengthened my brand. Knowing your negotiables not only protects you guys, it builds trust, and yes, with others, and it also helps you share your values up front. When you go do something or sell yourself out, it might seem like you're going to do great. But the truth of the matter is, that might just be one time around the track. It might not be the entire time that you run. So I think these are very, very important things, guys. And hopefully you'll understand that it's key that you understand why integrity is key to your life. All right. That is a really important thing. Well, number 7, testing ideas logically before adopting them. In my early podcasting days, I heard a theory that posting daily without content planning was the secret to success. It sounded exciting. I tried it for a month, and my audience engagement dropped. Lesson learned: test theories before embracing them fully. Now I experiment on a small scale first, gather the real results, and only then do I make the bigger moves. Logic over hype every single time. So many people out there will ask you for your money. So many people out there will tell you that they have everything that you need. But the truth of the matter is, they really don't. They're trying to let you know that they have something, but in the reality, they don't have anything. They're just trying to confuse you, and I think that's a huge flag. And that flag, I believe, is something that you might not learn right away until you get burnt. So I hope that's a very, very wise thing that you guys will, definitely pay attention to. All right, I hope you will. All right. So number 8 is respecting others' opinions without losing self-awareness. During a mastermind group meeting, someone shared a business philosophy completely opposite to mine. Instead of dismissing them, I listened, and with genuine curiosity, I still didn't agree. But I walked away with a better understanding of their perspective and even clear picture of why I believe what I believe. Respect doesn't require agreement. It just requires presence and open-hearted listening. And I think that's something that a lot of people today miss. They say they're listening, but really they haven't. Um, that's very, very important, guys. And the reason I say it's important is if you don't understand what you stand for, then how can you ever represent anything? I think that's important, but some people won't agree with me. And that's okay. They can agree to disagree, right? Number 9, guys, using evidence and reasoning over emotions. After a major setback, I almost made an emotional decision to quit a project that I loved. And I thought this was going to be a major, major idea. But the truth of the matter is, it wasn't. It definitely was not. Instead, I sat down, listed the facts. I did the Ben Franklin technique. You take a T, you put all the stuff on the left, you put all the stuff on the right, stuff that you like on the left, stuff that's negative or let's say cons on the right. So pros on the left, cons on the right. Turns out the setback was temporary and solvable. Making decisions based on reason rather than emotion saved not just the project, but also future ones. It's a discipline that keeps me steady through highs and the lows. Number 10, guys, being willing to adjust beliefs, but only when justified. For years, I believed that the only path to success was through relentless work with little rest. But after seeing the burnout around me and experiencing my own, I reconsidered careful research on productivity and wellness that convinced me that balance actually boosts success. That doesn't mean that I don't burn the midnight oil with the candle once in a while, but I don't do it all the time. Now, being a student in school, like today is one of my uh, finals coming up, and a couple of my tests coming up for the end of the semester here. And so that kind of happens at the end of the semester. But it's not something I make a practice of every single day, right? Um, Many people just realize that, you can't do stuff like that. And if you do, then you're going to pay a price later on. Number 11, setting mental boundaries to avoid manipulation. Once a so-called friend of mine tried to guilt me into a bad deal by questioning my loyalty. It almost worked until I remembered my mental boundaries. Business is about mutual benefit, not emotional blackmail. Setting firm mental lines gave me the clarity to walk away without guilt or confusion. Those boundaries have protected me more times than I can count. In fact, just yesterday, I shared a story of somebody who was on this high, let's say, podium, and he got insulted because I asked him to watch one of the shows in its entirety, to have an outline plan, and that we have a process and not everyone gets on the show. And he didn't like the fact that I told him we get hundreds of emails a day asking to be on the show. And he was trying to guilt me. And I said, nope, not going to let that happen. But I thanked him for reaching out to me. I wished him all the best with his success. And I said, it sounds like you're very successful and that I wish you all the best. And people like that, you don't want them in your energy. You really don't. So when you send somebody like that, dismiss them, but politely wish them well. Okay. Number 12, guys, practicing patience in understanding complex or opposing views. When I was introduced to a completely different philosophy of leadership many, many years ago, my first instinct was dismiss it. But instead, I decided to spend time reading, listening, and asking important questions. Months later, I did fully adopt that philosophy, but I did gain useful tools that enriched my own leadership style. And my patience turned what could have been an ignored idea into a valuable enhancement of my skill set. Wow, guys, that's a lot of information. We covered a lot today. And I think the big key we learned about here, as into talking to many of these points, is that we have to, yes, rely on our mind, but that can't be our only answer. Okay. We have to use basically some facts, right? If we don't do that, we're going to constantly say, oh, gee, why did I do this? And then you're not happy. And the reason you're not happy, Michelle, is because of insanity. And Einstein said this, and he's a very smart man, said that doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, you know what that is? It's insanity. None of you are insane. But why is it that when something doesn't work out and you do the same thing again, you're like, what happened? Well, nothing different. You just did the same thing over and over again. And that's what got people frustrated and not to respond with you, whether it's advertising, whether it's a relationship, whether it's going for a job, right? Whether it's making a new friend, whether it's volunteering. You have to have that respect for yourself first before anyone's ever going to give it to you. So be open. You have much more potential than you first thought. But you first got to believe in yourself. Hey, guys, do check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. I do have to finish up studying today and then get off to one of my last exams here for the semester. I hope you will check out believemeachieve.com and like, love, and support all the content. And I'll catch you guys real soon. All right. Be well. Have a wonderful night. Enjoy this great weather. And I'll catch you on another show or another form of my content real soon at believemeachieve.com or a live show. Take care, everyone.